Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So with everything we've seen so far concerning Gotham Knights, we can actually see that we haven't really seen a lot when it comes to the villain section of this game. We haven't really gotten news about what kind of villains we'll be seeing, apart from the ones that we already know, which is the Court of Owls. And in some of the trailers, I think we saw Penguin in one of the trailers. But aside the Court of Owls and the ones that we already know of, I think it would be nice to mention some villains that I'd like to see appear in this game. So without wasting much time, let's dive right into it and look at 5 villains that I'd like to see in Gotham Knights. So full disclaimer, this list is not based on any leaks. These are my personal favorites villains that I'd like to see come up in this game, and I would like to see how they are portrayed in this game with regards to the direction that this game is taking. So the first on the list is none other than Poison Ivy, and knowing that Poison Ivy is my favorite DC supervillain in the Gotham universe, aside Catwoman, it is only fair that I put her in the list. And with the art style and the character design in Gotham Knights, I'd like to see something new and something refreshing when it comes to the character Poison Ivy. I'd like to see how her new design will play into the Gotham Knights theme and some of her interactions with the 4 main protagonists in this game. Knowing that she was killed off in Arkham Knights trying to save Gotham City, it will be nice to see her refreshed with a new design in Gotham Knights and see how she'll play a part in the story of Gotham Knights. The next villain I'd like to see in Gotham Knights, which would make sense, because I'd like to see the League of Assassins as a faction of villains that will be able to fight in Gotham Knight. So it will only make sense that we get the leader himself, which is Ra's al Ghul, in the game. Maybe there'll be a side story for him where you play a mission dealing with the League of Assassins and kind of get a story which relates to Red Hood and how he got some of his mystic powers in Gotham Knights. Another character that I'd like to see in Gotham Knights and see how he's portrayed in Gotham Knights or the Gotham universe in this game would be Deathstroke. And WB Games Montreal being the ones who introduced Deathstroke in, I think, Arkham City, they give us one of the most cinematic boss fights in a superhero game ever, which was between Batman and Deathstroke. With what they've been able to do in that game, I think it would be nice for them to bring the same character into Gotham Knights and see how these knights are able to face Deathstroke himself, not in a tank like how we got in Arkham Knights, but rather get to fight this character, see some of his moves, and maybe a little story or some side missions relating to Deathstroke. With the game set in Gotham City, it is not fair to not have Batman in the game. It is also not fair to remove her female counterpart, which is Catwoman, from the game. And I think with how this game is going story-wise, it will make sense that Catwoman might show up somewhere in the story to grieve with the Knights, because she also shared somewhat of an intimate relationship with the character Batman. So it will only make sense for her to appear to either share her condolences with the Knights or help them in some of the missions that they may take in order to avenge the death of their father. So Catwoman is a must and she must appear in this game. The fourth character I have on my list is of course TwoFace, and TwoFace is quite an interesting character, and although he hasn't been a main character in any of the Batman games, I think it would be nice to see him with his own story or his own arc or mission in this game and see how well they dissect this character and give him some more screen time to shine in Gotham Knights. Another Gotham villain, which is one of my favorites, is Firefly, and specifically in this game I would like to see the female version of Firefly fight against the Gotham Knights. And without the character's design it will be interesting to see how she's modeled in this game and see some of the movesets that she brings on board. With the redesign of Mr. Freeze in this game, I'd like to see something extra for Firefly as a character, which is the polar opposite of what Mr. Freeze is. So it would be nice to see Firefly in this game with her own story or as part of the Gotham Knights story as one of the villains that you might fight in order to get to the next stage or the next part of the story in Gotham Knights, and it will be nice to see how they portray this character. And with that, I believe these are my top 5 villains that I'd like to see in Gotham Knights and see how they play a part in the story, either the story or as side missions in the game. And I'm sure some of these characters might appear in the game, but these are some of the characters that I would really like to see in Gotham Knights. So with that being said, let me know in the comment section the villains that you'd like to see appear in Gotham Knights, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.